Please come in. Please sit down, Sonali. Sonali, introduce yourself to the board.
So my name is Sonali Dev, and I've been born and brought up in Delhi. So I've pursued my graduation in software engineering from Delhi Technological University, and after that I pursued my MBA from IIM Calcutta. I've also had the opportunity.
MBA from where?
IIM Calcutta.
IIM Calcutta.
Yes, sir. So I've also had the opportunity to work with PayU Payments as a software engineer pre-MBA, and with Goldman Sachs as an IBD analyst post my MBA.
What is IBD?
So it's investment banking.
Investment banking.
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Okay. So Sonali, will start with Dr. Sinha.
Yes.
Sonali, I see that you got the Director's Medal for outstanding contribution to sports at IIM.
Yes, sir.
What was your contribution?
So because I was the events head at IIM Calcutta, so I started an initiative, that is the 7 Lakes Initiative Marathon Run. So, and we saw citywide participation there. Plus, I also started another sports event called Carpe Diem Sports Festival, which IIM Calcutta hosted for 8 universities and 8 colleges. And so I think the biggest contribution, but that was as a team, was that we started and actually approached the director for revamping our sports infrastructure.
Okay.
And it was a 1.2 CR project which we could do it successfully within that year.
Okay. You know, Sonali, I have always wondered, people who go to IIM, they go into marketing and other very financially lucrative field.
Yes, sir.
You are from sports, so you would have some idea. Tell us why people don't take up sports management.
Yes, sir. So, sir, sports is a very lucrative, even though it's a very lucrative field to get into. So, sports in India does not give a very wide career choice to students, and that is why I think it's not taken up by most of the students who are themselves sports persons. And so, sports management is taught at IIM also, but sports management as a career, the options are very limited.
No, but today you have, IPL, you have the soccer league, you have hockey. These are great opportunities for professional managers.
Yes, sir.
So that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
Isn't that true?
Yes, sir, that is true. And so I think there has been an uptake in people opting for sports management lately. And even from college, I personally know a few people who have associated themselves in sports management, and even in private companies who are pursuing sports management as a option.
Okay. Sonali, you must have read in the newspaper, women voters are becoming very important constituent
Yes, sir.
in the recent election that you saw in UP and other places.
Yes,
Women outvoted men in many areas, but their candidature, elected candidates are still very low. Why?
So I can think of a few reasons for that. One is the patriarchal barriers that women face, and even though they are voting, sometimes they are not using their own agency to vote. And so secondly, there are within the party system also, there are barriers to women gaining top positions in the party, and that is why they are not elected, and that is not translated.
So what can be done?
So one of the things that can be done is having a more transparent party system. Within the party also, there can be elections, and women can be given higher leadership roles from the start. And so, as per, we can strengthen women agency in the third tier elections, for example, in Panchayat Raj institutions or in urban local bodies, where once they get into that field.
Last question
Yes,
I'll ask you. You're from technology field. Infosys was recently in the news in regard to the Ukraine crisis. Are you aware of it? Have you heard of Infosys?
Yes, I have
So
heard of
it was in
Infosys.
the news for some link with the Ukraine, that crisis. Are you aware
Sorry,
of
sir,
it?
I'm not able to recollect.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Sonali, you are an engineer as well as a finance specialist,
Yes, sir.
right? You have
Yes,
worked
sir.
as an investment banker.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, what are your views on this CBDC that we are talking about these days?
So I think CBDC can be the next or future currency that all the countries can pursue. Having said that, sir, there are still a lot of regulations that we need to look upon. For example, sir, privacy issues and privacy concerns are one of the biggest factors. And sir, giving a legal tender to a CBDC will also require some operational modalities to be looked into.
No, but that's a very general answer. I thought you could mention something more specific. For instance, right now also we are doing electronic transactions. Right now,
Yes,
right
sir.
now we are doing it without currency,
Yes, sir.
electronic currency, right?
Yes, sir.
How will CBDC be different when that comes into being?
So CBDC can be different or better in a few aspects. So one is that the transaction time for most of the payments is taken as T+1 days, whereas in CBDC it can be instantaneous.
Right now RTGS transactions don't take T+1.
Yes, sir. For international financial transactions, the
Ah.
settlement cycle date is usually T+1 days.
Ah.
But for even when we use CBDC for international financial transactions, it can be instantaneously done. And so it will remove a lot of currency barriers.
No, what is technologically, how is it different?
So it uses
Or process wise, how will it be different?
Yes, sir. So it uses a distributed ledger, and because it uses a distributed ledger, it is immutable. For example, it cannot be.
These are cliches. Tell me the actual process. You have been a banker, you would know. How does electronic settlement take place? Supposing I transfer some money from my bank account to yours today. How will the transaction go through?
So for an online payment, it goes through a payment gateway, then it goes to a banking page. And so from that, there is a settlement, like the banks, if it's an interbank settlement, there will be a transaction. It's debited and another is credited.
There is an intermediary.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Now when the currency comes into existence, then what will happen?
So we can actually.
I have got
yes.
electronic currency. Can I transfer it to you directly without intervention of any bank
So currently.
or any settlement gateway?
So currently no, but once CBDC comes into place, yes, sir.
That is the
Yes,
difference.
sir.
That is what it will be.
Yes, sir.
That
The
is
financial
immediate.
intermediaries will. Yes, sir.
Will not be required.
Will not be required. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, my next question to you is, let's move to a different topic. What do you think government has done for empowering women in the country? Do you think enough has been done or more is required?
Sir, I think it has taken a lot of laudable steps for women empowerment, but still we have a long way to go. For example, sir, the basic steps here have been that gross enrollment ratio of women in education has gone up. So there have been schemes like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, which have got a remarkable change. Then, sir, in legislative terms, there have been legislations on PCP and DT Act. There have been Maternity Benefits Act, so that women can increase labor force participation in the work arena. And for example, so the other aspects, like we have strict implementation of Domestic Violence Act. They have also allowed live-in partners to yes.
Are you aware of some judgments of Supreme Court regarding position of women in the armed forces?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell about that?
Sir, Supreme Court recently said that women can be given permanent commission, and if they are meritorious, they can be given permanent commission in the army.
Yes, that is one. Then after that, there have been many judgments after that. That was long time back. After that, there have been another 2 or 3 judgments on this issue. No.
So I'm not.
We'll
aware.
discuss when you come for
Yes,
feedback.
sir.
Aradhana.
So Sonali, first of all, the chairman has stolen all my women questions, so I cannot ask you those. So you are a very multifaceted personality. You have done a whole PCM, then you've done economics, and you took geography.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
very
Thank
interesting.
you.
Why so?
So one of the reasons that I took up geography after PCM and management was because I was given this time and bandwidth to study a different subject altogether, and I wanted to take up that opportunity to study something that I might not in the future get the time to. So I had decided upon a humanities subject.
Wonderful. Okay, tell me, what is the importance of Crimea?
Ma'am, Crimea was part of Ukraine, and
Was it part of Ukraine always?
so, ma'am, in the recent past, it was
Have you
part.
studied English literature? English?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you heard of Charge of the Light Brigade? Half a league, half a league, half a league onwards? Famous?
Yes, ma'am. I
That's
have.
the first Crimean War?
Ma'am, it was annexed by Russia in 2014. So the geopolitical significance was that Crimea boasted of a Russian majority or Russian population, but it was part of Ukraine till very recently. And because it bordered Russia, and NATO forces were already making inroads or towards the bordering.
What about the Black Sea?
Ma'am, geopolitical significance of Black Sea.
And of Crimea?
Yes, ma'am. It was bordering Black Sea and Sea of Azov, which was.
It's actually surrounded.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, fair enough. Now, this IBD, what is this IBD analyst? It's basically market analyst?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, tell me, if I were to say that the Indian stock market is highly overvalued and the fundamentals don't justify the valuation, will you agree with me? If so, if not, why?
Ma'am, I wouldn't agree totally. Because we did see an uptrend in the stock market very recently, but markets have taken that correction course.
What are the factors which you see, which you understand to see where the valuation should lie? What is it that governs the market?
Ma'am, the basic thing that governs the market is the demand and supply. And when we see particular companies, ma'am, we see how much cash it is generating, whether it's a net profit or net
EBITDA?
loss, and EBITDA, yes, ma'am, and even on revenue basis, and revenue or turnover is what we see.
Now, how many Sensex companies are there?
Ma'am, Sensex in this 30 BSE, top 30 BSE companies.
So, is it hypothetically possible to manage these companies to get a higher valuation?
Yes, ma'am. Hypothetically, it is possible
So,
to. Yes,
what
ma'am.
are you saying? You are saying our market is not overheated, so to speak, or it is?
Ma'am, currently it is not very overheated because markets have seen a correction in the past 1 or 2 weeks.
What are the kinds of FDIs that are flowing into India as of now? And what's the danger in those FDIs?
Ma'am, most of the FDI that are flowing into India is of speculative nature right now.
What are they called? What are the funds called? What's the particular term for them?
Ma'am, FPIs.
No, the FPI is foreign portfolio investment.
Yes, ma'am.
FDI is foreign directed investment,
Yes,
a
ma'am.
larger term.
Yes, ma'am.
The kind of money that is coming. Have you heard of hedge funds?
Yes, ma'am.
That's the danger.
Yes,
Have you heard
ma'am.
of P notes?
Yes, ma'am.
What are P notes?
Ma'am, these are participatory notes.
What does it mean?
Ma'am, participatory notes are notes that are issued outside Indian jurisdiction for people outside India to invest in Indian stock markets.
So, are they legal now in India? Are they allowed?
Ma'am, they have been allowed, but they do not come under the direct regulation of SEBI.
What is the danger in P notes?
Ma'am, the danger in P notes is that we do not actually know the investor profile, and investors.
So, money coming back.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good. Recently, Air India has been sold.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. 3 quick things you have to say, plus minus.
Ma'am, I think it's a positive thing because it will get into the private sector and maybe the efficiency will increase. Ma'am, Air India earlier was garnering a lot of losses, and once Air India gets into the private sector, it is now also open to mergers with other airlines, and I think they can scale up or have economies of scale in place. And ma'am, thirdly will be that it is a move towards less governance and government moving away from managing.
Less government, better governance.
Better governance. Government moving away
Okay,
from.
all right.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, my last question, second last.
Yes.
Last question is, second last is that in this context, do you know some companies in the pipeline for privatization? The government has, would you know? No.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me 2, 3.
Ma'am, there had been a talk of privatizing LIC. Then there has been talks of privatizing
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
Sick
able
or
to
well,
recollect.
which should be privatized? Sick units or those that are doing well?
Ma'am, I think the priority should be on the sick units
So
first.
LIC is sick?
No, ma'am, it's not
Alright,
a sick
never
unit.
mind. Lastly, your choice of states is very interesting. You belong to Delhi, and you've chosen Chhattisgarh over Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. Why? Very interesting.
Yes, ma'am. I think that was because firstly, ma'am, I do not have any strong cadre preferences, but when I filled out the form, I was looking for places where I can do more developmental work. So, not saying that Madhya Pradesh or Gujarat,
No,
there
no,
is less
point is well
development.
made.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, Sonali,
Yes, sir.
your DAF looks wonderful.
Thank you, sir.
One thing which I noticed that while you had a very good CGPA in you've done your BTech, no?
Yes, sir.
But in MBA it was not that high.
Yes, sir.
Is there a tradition not to have a high CGPA there in Calcutta, or there is some other issue?
Sir, there is no tradition as such, but sir, having said that, the average CGPA or the average CGPA lies close to
That
5.5
way
and
only.
6. Yes, sir.
Okay, I see. And what was your name of your degree? I mean, it was BTech, all right, okay.
Yes, sir.
But then BTech in what?
So BTech in software engineering.
In
Software engineering.
software engineering.
Yes.
Okay. So, but did you work that way? Did you utilize your software engineering for some work
Yes, sir.
as your job somewhere?
sir.
Where did you do?
So I was working as a software engineer in PayU Payments from 2015 to 2016. So, so there I had used
Okay.
all my domain knowledge for software
Okay.
engineering.
How that company makes money? That Goldman something, Goldman Sachs or something?
Ye-
What do they do?
Sir, they are investment banking, into investment banking, and they have a few streams of revenue. So the first one will be to manage investments of their investors for their clients, and they manage their investments, and that is where they take a cut. So second stream of revenue is when they have clients that come to Goldman Sachs as book runner for mergers, for acquisitions, for uptaking equity, or for hedging forex. Then they take a percentage, and that is the second source of revenue. And the third source of revenue, sir, is merchant banking division, where Goldman Sachs invests its own profit back into the market. So that is the
Okay.
third stream of revenue.
You are practically a Delhi girl, is it not? Broadly.
Broadly, sir.
Broadly, you are in Delhi only.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think we can improve the policing in Delhi?
Sir, I think there is always scope for improvement, and it can be improved. But sir, because police does not come under the Delhi government, it is because Delhi has a special status of a UT. It comes under the central government. There have been some cases where it has not been implemented very well, especially in the bordering areas of NCT Delhi. There have been more instances of crime in the bordering areas, for example, in Gurgaon, Noida.
No, what you have told, one entirely different facet, that it's not under Delhi government. Do you think that's the reason that policing needs improvement?
So I wouldn't say that would be the only reason. So policing does need improvement in terms of ease of contacting the police, civil connect with the people, and even reforms within the police. For example, there can be more efficiency
Let's take it one by one.
Yes, sir.
You said, first point what you said is about the ease of
connecting to the police, ease of contacting the police.
contacting
Yes,
police.
sir.
What is the present problem in contacting police?
So the present problem is that even when we go to register an FIR, sometimes in thanas and sometimes the lower constabulary are not very receptive to even take the
How do
FIRs.
we improve that?
So I think the basic would be police training, and so that they are given training and they are made aware that they hold a huge responsibility towards the citizens of the place they serve. And I think that behavioral attitudinal change and having more civil connect with the people will help in changing this
On the
attitude.
software side,
Yes, sir.
and application software, let me say, Do you think some work has been done in this connection?
Yes, sir. There have been launch of e-sites where e-FIR can also be launched. For example, sir, in COVID also.
Any application package which is run by Government of India or by some other department under Government of India exactly for this purpose of, you can say, connecting the population or the connecting the people to the police or helping them. Let me say citizen services, citizen centric services from the police to the public. For this, is there any particular software which you have?
Yes, there is a particular software, sir.
What is that one?
And I have downloaded the software also, but I'm not aware of the name, sir.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
forgetting the name, sir.
Doesn't matter. So long you know that there is a software.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
people have worked in that direction.
Yes,
is it
sir.
not? That's very good. Okay. And you have done something called, what is this, mandal painting or mandala painting? What is it exactly it is?
So mandala painting is a historic art form from India only, and
Okay.
it
Now,
has.
is it religious work or non-religious work?
So it has been used for both religious and as well as non-religious work. So it has its origin in Hinduism and Buddhism and was in the
What is
earlier
mandal?
days.
Or mandala, whatever.
Yes, sir.
What exactly it is?
Mandal, sir, means circle in Sanskrit, and it signifies the circle of life.
Circle. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that will do. Thank you.
All right, Sonali, we'll call you for feedback. Just wait for a few minutes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.